Mr. Speaker, for the past few months I've been hearing disturbing reports from members of the Bill 6 roundtables about whether this government has been taking their input seriously. The concerns being voiced are that, should there be no consensus, the government will simply toss out any views that don't mesh with their ideology and create regulations as they see fit. To the Minister, what assurances can you give these roundtable members that their hard work and effort will not simply be sent to the burn barrel as so much trash?
Good question.
Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Forestry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for a question. Again, there were 72 members on the total for these technical working groups. They had put in a hard work, a variety of interests right across Alberta. I thank them for their hard work. They were able not to reach consensus on everything. The ones they do, we're going to be able to have all of Albertans examined for, looking for that input. The opposition had criticized the consultation process. They were wrong on that. We have fulsome consultation, and I'm looking forward to the results. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Wonderfully.
First supplemental.
Mr. Speaker, given that per the government's press conference yesterday, consensus was not reached on all roundtables, and given that if there is no consensus, the final decision on which recommendations to accept lies with the government, which means that choices will have to be made. To the Minister, for those roundtables that didn't reach consensus, will the Minister side with views that mirror their ideology, or does the Minister plan to break the stalemate in some other way, and if so, what will that be?
Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the member for the question. The members opposite would have preferred these technical working groups to be made up of all the same people. They weren't. They were very diverse views, right across from labour, workers, farmers, ranchers, experts in health and safety. Were all made up a part of that table. The discussions were robust. That they didn't come to consensus in all the recommendations is natural, but with all those views on the ones that they have, we're looking forward to those recommendations, hearing from all of Albertans, as we always said we were going to. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member of Cypress Medicine Hat.
Southern Albertans are struggling, and this government...
It's bad policies.
My apologies. I was jumping ahead. Second supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that in yesterday's press conference, the minister stated that government will decide what regulations come out of the Bill 6 roundtable reports, certainly on reports that have points where consensus hasn't been reached, and given that even if the vast majority of Albertans submit their opposition to certain recommendations, the government will have the final say. To the minister, how do you plan to respond to complaints from some table members that fear that the results of these consultations are ultimately predetermined?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We know that the opposition has gone on record saying they will repeal this legislation if and when they ever get in power, that they would deny basic workers' rights to these workers, and I'm assuming they would deny basic rights for every worker in Alberta. For that, Mr. Speaker, I say shame. This government, by its minister, will continue protecting Alberta's workers, will continue making Alberta's lives better for those workers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.